trying things. And if
Yep.
you don't like it, just try it and fail fast. Like you can fail at doing
Yeah.
things, but if you fail fast, you're going to be able to know fast what you don't like and what you like. And at one point, you're going to find something that you love and find your spot.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Jib Draw, the podcast that's here to help young professionals navigate the marine industry with clarity and confidence, answering your questions as authentically and openly as possible.
That's right. Transitioning from school to industry can feel overwhelming, but you're not alone. Think of us as your friendly neighborhood guides. We've been there and we're here to help.
Our podcast is proudly sponsored by the SNAME Canadian Atlantic section and hosted by me, Danielle.
And me, Pranay.
Let's get into it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Big Jib Draw. I'm joined first and foremost by my co-host, Danielle, as always. Danielle, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Pranay. What can I say? How about you?
Oh, I'm, staying alive. Definitely not getting into at-fault minor vehicle accidents.
Oh no, Pranay. That's
It's
all
fine,
right.
I've got insurance.
I was going to say, accidents happen. It's okay.
Yeah, there are accidents for a reason. So, to those of our listeners who have diligently waited for our content to evolve from a two-way conversation to a sort of interview format, boy, do we have something special for you. Our very first guest on the podcast.
Woo.
Joining us today on the podcast is William Champagne, the Business Development Manager at BMT and a leading voice in Canada's maritime sector. With over 8 years of experience driving digital transformation in shipbuilding, Will works closely with shipyards, owners, and designers to solve complex challenges with innovative, tech-forward solutions. He's also the top global recruiter for SNAME 2025
Woohoo.
and was recently recognized for that achievement. Today, he's here to talk about his journey into the marine industry, how SNAME has shaped his career, and what's on the horizon, from AI and multi-industry collaboration to the future of Canadian and global shipbuilding. We're really excited to have him on the show. So without further ado, hi Will, welcome.
Hey, Pranay. Hey, Danielle. Thanks
Hello.
for this glorious introduction. It sounds like I'm 50, but, but it's a really
We'll
good
try.
one. Yeah, there you go.
Good. Yeah, well, we had to pack all those incredible achievements into one little introduction,
There
so
you go.
it's quite
That's it.
challenging.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's
Very,
never easier said
very
than done.
proud to be on the show. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we're really looking forward to having you here. We can dive right into the questions. Actually, let's get this conversation rolling. We're really
go.
excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll begin with the beginning, or maybe before that. Tell us a bit about yourself and your background and how it shaped your professional path.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot to unpack here, but I guess I want to keep it on the theme that how to help people find their place in shipbuilding in Canada.
Mhm.
I've been listening to a few of your podcasts. I really like the mission of like bringing your story to everyone in SNAME, everyone in the industry, and I think we need people outside of this industry to join the industry. So
Absolutely. Yep.
conversations like that are very good. So a little bit about me. So obviously, I'm not sure if you can say with a little accent. Some people, like there's people in the U.S. that say that I don't have a French accent, but I have an accent from the South, which is pretty weird to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I was going to say,
but,
as a Canadian, I recognize it, right? I mean, I lived in
Yeah.
Ottawa. So I recognize
Well,
it. I hear it. Yeah.
right. Yeah, well, that's excellent. So for the
Yeah.
people on
Yeah.
the show, I'm French
Yes.
first. So I'm from listening to this show. I'm French first. I'm from Quebec, from a small town around Montreal, and I've got pretty strong shipbuilding roots. So there's a shipyard called Marine Industry Limited that
Mhm.
was
Okay.
in Sorel. So that shipyard was doing ships for the Second World War. And also ships after that. So there's a lot of shipbuilding that happened there. That's where my parents are from, and my mom kept telling me when I was younger that when she was going to bed, she was hearing the noise of like metal clacking and all that because they were putting those ships together. And my grandfather actually went he worked in at the hospital as like a manager there of one of the trades.
Okay.
And every night he was going in the back of the shipyard, grabbing like whatever piece, whatever part he needed, and he actually built 2 ships doing that, two little boats. That
Oh my God.
and we in my younger days, we still had the cottage, but we have a cottage on an island. So every time we needed to cross with the boat to cross St. Lawrence, seeing big ships and all that. So my shipbuilding roots are kind of from there, and like my father keeps telling me, our school, like the school I went to, it's in Rimouski. So that's about 5 hours away from Sorel, and 6 hours from Montreal, which is where I was born and where I grew up. And so no one in the family, everyone had the passion. No one made the move to go.
Right.
I'm the first one to kind of make the move, and I feel pretty silly saying that, like with Pranay on the show, that his move is like a 20-hour flight. For me, it's a 6-hour drive. So I don't want to complain there, Pranay.
Yeah.
But
a move is a move.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's right. So
very cool. I was going to say, I can emphasize with that too. I mean, we made the big move from Marystown to St. John's, and that was a 3.5-hour drive. So it was the big move. Right?
Yeah. Change communities and all that.
Absolutely.
So I went in deep Quebec, learned naval architecture there, learned what I wanted to do in life and things like that. Something I didn't learn, or something I lost there, was English.
Oh, okay.
Because you're in deep Quebec, right?
Yeah.
So there's like, I spoke very good English before going there, and when I went there, I lost my English completely.
Well, you got it back.
Yeah, well,
hey, you got it back.
That's true. Yeah, thanks, SNAME, right? So yes, I went to school there, and after that, got an internship from Marine. And while I was at school there, I worked as a waiter in the restaurant.
Okay.
And for Quebec listeners, Pacini, which is the Italian brand, an Italian
franchisee.
Yeah, franchise in Quebec here.
Cool.
And that's how I got my first job, actually, because I wasn't really good at school. So there was a lot of internship that were given. So I did a few of those meetings, and every time like I didn't have good notes, and I wasn't really passionate about doing drawings and stuff like that. So, but one day, Pierre Charles from Enough Marine came, and he did the interview with everyone. So I was like, for me, I got to do it, right? Even if and then the top guy in our class, he was like, that's the job I want. And every year he used to have an internship, and he was kind of the first selected. He's a very good grade, very good guy, right? And then I'm the one that got the call. And he's like, well, we're selling software and you like to sell, so why not? I don't want this other guy that's passionate in drawing. We're not drawing things, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the first thing that happened to me on finding your place in the industry, right? So that's a little bit about how I came alive.
But let me tell you, that guy, he's not on Big Chip Draw. You're on Big Chip Draw.
Boom. Good one.
Absolutely. Gotta plug this podcast as shamelessly as we can while we're doing it. It's meta. So sort of continuing down that path, Will. So when you've mentioned how you got your sort of start, your professional start, and how you sort of started on your way to building a career in the shipbuilding industry. I'm sort of curious to know where during that time or during that process of seeing yourself in the shipbuilding industry, did you discover or stumble upon SNAME? I want to hear that story.
Yeah, that's actually a good one. So on that first summer, that internship, I went. That internship was in Lévis, so right across from Quebec City, where Davy is, obviously. So it wasn't for Davy; it was for Enough Marine. Then, so during that summer, at one point, Pierre Charles like, oh, there's a C-Smart event in Ottawa, as well as a SNAME event. So I'm not sure you guys are familiar with C-Smart.
No, not me.
Yeah, it's an industry. It's run by Memorial University, I believe. Some researcher there, and it's industry led, and so they have a bunch of different topics. And I'm going to shamelessly plug their next event, which is in Ottawa in December. Yeah, in December on AI and ship design. So that's a pretty interesting one that's coming up. But so they had one there. I don't recall what was the topic, but so he's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Like, let's go." So then I arrive, and Pierre Charles was the chairman of SNAME Eastern Canadian. So he kind of brought me up and was able to introduce me to everyone. And that's when I met Glenn. So Glenn Walters, that's when he gave me the pin, and he pinned my jacket. There you go. You're part of SNAME. So I really felt welcome there. And coming back a bit, Pierre Charles was like, "Do you like it?" I said, "I love it." Because for us in the school in Quebec, like I said, no one could speak English there. So it's really hard for them to connect with other regions. So this was kind of like every time when I was to school, they were talking about the shipyards in Quebec, the design agents in Quebec. And okay, if you want to go up, then you go to University in Montreal and you got to do your master in the UK. They didn't even talk about like Memorial or stuff like that.
Wow.
So it was really, Quebec has that niche there. I know like Newfoundland has a bit of a niche too. Like culture are very similar between Quebec and Newfoundland.
I know, it's interesting to hear your story. Yeah, it is very similar. Like it's common to stay here. You know, we try and promote things here. So I completely get it. Yeah.
And for us, like we've got the language, so the language barrier adds another layer to it.
It absolutely does.
But we're not on an island, right? So there's that's right. But so it was really interesting to see the other side of shipbuilding and the whole shipbuilding in Canada. So that was really good. And coming back from that, Pierre Charles was like, "Okay, if you like it, do you want to create a student section at IMQ?" So I'm like, "Sure, let me see." So he said, "I'm going to pay for the first 10 members." So I just convinced 10 students to say, "You want to be part of this? This sounds fun." And they're like, "Sure." And on the second week, I think, I received an email from Glenn, and he's like, "Oh, there's a submarine close to Rimouski, about 10 minutes drive from there, Onondaga, which is an older submarines that Glenn and his buddies sailed on a few years ago." So he's like, "It's the 50th anniversary of that submarines, and we're going to do an event there. Do you want to bring the new SNAME students?" I'm like, "Sure, like let's expose them to the industry, right?"
Yeah.
So we ended up like 10 students, and I don't want to show you guys that picture. Glenn, if you listen to this, don't show the picture to anyone. I will. Yeah, I'm not in my best.
I want to see the picture.
Yeah, there you go. So
Glenn.
So we got on the submarines with sailors that sailed on it. And the guys were like telling real stories, and they were were crying, telling stories, and seeing like bunk beds they spent like a lot of time on. And so that was the first moment when I'm like, okay, well, there's real value in SNAME. Like I'm still at school, and I'm able to hear these stories, and I'm able to kind of really put myself I feel in the industry, right?
Yeah.
So that moment was really, it was something else. It was good.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, my next question for you then would be, so all these things, you're involved with SNAME now, you've had your intro, you're with Inov. Through all that, how did you find that you were able to find your ground in such a vast industry? I mean, we know how crazy the different niches are. Like, it's easy to find yourself in such a specific role. That's what I'm noticing. So how did you find a place where you were happy and comfortable as you kind of like navigated through this industry?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I was obviously quite lucky in the job that I found, and I was able to because we graduated only 6 people, so I was quite lucky with that. You know, if Marine found me, they wanted someone that's wanted to sell and was in the industry, and I was lucky that they wanted to they were looking for a guy like me as well. So there's a bit of luck on both sides, and I think we both benefited from that opportunity, I would say.
Sure.
But I think and what was really valuable too is going in a small business. I was able to touch to everything. Marine was in the growth phase after that. So I was able to really find my place and see, oh, I like that. I don't like that. So,
Right.
okay, we need to hire. We need to grow. Okay, hire someone for that because I don't like it. Or they said, you're not good at that, so we'll hire someone. Sometimes they didn't ask me, right? They're like, you're not good at that. We'll take accounting, like account payable out of you. I'm like, yeah, I'm not an accountant.
Yeah.
So that was good. But I would say like the way I really found myself, I found my niche is I like the analogy. I don't know if you guys are a fan of the show The Office.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
I was going to say,
So
I think we've quoted them on this podcast, Pranay.
Oh, good.
I believe we have. And something else that I believe is that today smoking will save lives. Anyways, go on, Will. You were saying.
Yeah, there you go. So something that I always kept in mind, and I think helped me find my niche, is that I like when I think in the first or second episode, Dwight is like he's telling him, "Do you want to create an alliance?" Then he goes to the confessional, and he's like, "Something I've learned every time that Dwight asked me something like that, I said." Absolutely. And he said it in a really intense way, right?
Yeah.
So every time, like, I feel like when I was younger and I didn't know what I wanted to do and I needed to find my place. When someone asked me something, I said, yes, absolutely. So that's how I really found my niche, I would say. It's just like trying things. And if you don't like it, just try it and fail fast. Like you can fail at doing things, but if you fail fast, you're going to be able to know fast what you don't like and what you like. And at one point, you're going to find something that that you love and find your spot. So
that's awesome.
I would say that's how
Very cool.
quoted The Office for the third time in this podcast.
Honestly, I think that was perfect. I got you.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
So, sort of keeping with that feeling from the previous question, let's explore the industry and how a professional like you sees the industry and what's out there. One of the things that is currently underway, the big project in the Canadian shipbuilding world is, of course, the National Shipbuilding Strategy.
Right.
I'm sort of curious to know, from your perspective, how does the NSS actually help build the industry up? And if you think it builds up the industry at all. So what's your sort of 2 cents in that regard?
Yeah, well, if we're talking about building the industry, I'm going to start with I think what builds the base of the industry is the Power One of NSS, which is the construction of large vessels. So that's what started in 2012. Initially was Seaspan and Irving, and then Davy found a spot into it a few years ago. So I think the real example to show how it really builds the industry is when we're looking at the 3 major hubs. So there's hubs around those shipyards that became very big.
Yeah.
So like ABCMI grew crazy. Association of British Columbia Marine Industries grow so fast since Seaspan joined the industry. Everyone, like all the vendors attached to that, all the vendors were able to be part of that, and it was helping Seaspan grow, but also was giving opportunities to smaller shipyard because these vendors were growing, right?
Yep.
So, and they were able to take on smaller jobs and other things. I can share like an example on the Irving side. For example, BMT's involved on that the River class destroyer program, helping doing requirements and a bunch of things. But that's a long-term commitment that helps BMT to grow. Yep. That helps BMT to diversify and look at other projects, look at other things, because we have that revenue stream that we know is coming. Now and it's the same. It's the same for Marine. It's the same for everyone. Once you have a big customer and it really aligns you, then you can grow. And so there's like on the east side, it's Acada, and in Quebec, it's Naval Quebec. That so these three, I think, are really showing how the industry is growing. When you go at these events, you see there's like Navy and Coast Guard vessel everywhere on their board and because they're part of these projects. Yeah.
No, there's what you mentioned about the professional representation there, like through Akara, for example, out here in the East Coast. Like, these projects, like, they really do foster, I would say, organic growth within the industry, because like you said, that everybody knows there's a revenue stream.
Yeah.
And that the tap is open somewhere. Yeah. And so there is an opportunity. There's a gap that needs filling, so to speak, and it ends up benefiting everyone. So thank you for that insightful answer. I'm sure a lot of people listening in on this episode who will be curious, as to how the industry actually grows. Because it's like, for example, if you think about an industry like oil and gas or mining, you can sort of see that, okay, there's a demand, and there's a company or a few companies that have the capability to extract said resources. And so people can see that. Might not always be as direct for people to see the picture when it comes to shipbuilding, but it's a very organic growth. So
I find too, everybody, especially in the shipbuilding industry, every time I go to these conferences or meetups, everyone's just so excited about it all too, right? And I think that's a big thing to kind of point out too. When you attend these meets, everyone's so eager and excited. I even find sometimes it doesn't feel like work at all to me. Like I'm just genuinely passionate and excited about it, and I get that vibe from everybody in this industry. And I find that very exciting to see and enlightening myself. Curiosity now, Will, what other opportunities are out there as we look to kind of get away from the mega block dominated builds in the NSS? How do we reconcile or utilize small vessel buildup in this regard? Because I know that's another pillar that we plan to look at today too.
Yeah. The second pillar on the smaller vessel is one that's really pretty dear to my heart. I would say because those are smaller vessels, they advance faster. So as a young young professional in the industry, I was really close to the SAR vessel, the search and rescue vessel that we're building at Chantier Naval Forion. And that was really we worked on GSS but the ship's not delivered yet. They'll deliver 10 of them at Forion, right? So every time growing, seeing the 3D model growing and then going on the ship, and it's just that the value is pretty big on those are projects that they won't go over budget. You will not get all the big ones. You'll not get the big hype around it compared to Power One, but they will be on budget. People will it's even more like a negotiation game. Like the vendors needs to align to a different pace. And it's a fast pace, it's a fun pace, right? So that's really for the smaller business and the smaller shipyard, it's a great opportunity to grow. And I think, if you want to really see an NSS project from start to end quickly and being able to learn everything, again, when you go with a small business, you're going to touch on everything. That's Filer 2 to me, right? Filer 2 is that if you want to see everything and be embedded in everything, go to a smaller shipyard and go design or build these vessels, because you're going to be able to touch it at all. Same thing if you're like a supplier or whatever, but I really like this fast-paced part of NSS, and it's a really important one. Yes, it's not ships that goes to the Arctic, but it's search and rescue vessel. It's large Navy tugs. It's a bunch of different vessels that are really important to what we do in Canada.
100%.
It's a pretty fun piler, I would say.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunity.
Fun one.
So now that you've touched on the sort of, the big ship builds and the small ship builds,
right.
I want to broach a topic that's a little close to my heart, because it relates to one of the more longer co-op terms that I had, which is when
Okay.
I was at Coast Guard, the ships would be alongside
Yeah.
the Coast Guard base in Dartmouth, and like almost the majority of our work would be to assist in the alongside refits, repair works, and such. So we've talked about actually building the ships, but when
Yeah.
it comes to maintenance and when it comes to in-service support and actually making sure that the fleet properly, is well cared for, because at the end of the day, these are national assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're well cared for and that they service well. So how do you see the role of essentially repair, refit, and maintenance projects in the sort of shipbuilding economy?
It's a huge role. Like when you look at the cost of a vessel, the build is probably 50% or maybe less than that.
Yeah.
Most of the money is on like the life of the vessel. If we look at
Mm.
like the Louis Saint Laurent, which is like the
Yeah.
the big ship in Canada, it's like our polar icebreaker. That ship was
It's
built
the
in Vickers in Montreal. I went where the shipyard used to be. There's not a lot now, and it's been a while. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So that tells you how old that ship is and how much money was put in that ship. How
hmm
many vessel life extension were put on that. That ship was built in the 50s.
Wow.
So it's crazy. So like that's a really big part. And I think it's a segment that's not looked as much, but it's a very important one because we look at like and it also helps. It's a phase of the industry that's really key. And if we look at like Ontario Shipyard, they're doing it now. They're doing the vessel life cycle extension for the Terry Fox.
Right.
Well, that's key. That's our second biggest ship. That's close to $200 million contract. It's a big contract for Ontario. Yeah,
hmm
Ontario doesn't have these big built contracts, but they
Yep.
have like other ones. They have like the pillar tree, which is really important. And once you deliver well in one of these VLE, then that ship will keep recoming because you know the vessel, so it's going to be easier to estimate. And similar to Pilot 2, it's really a negotiation game. It's money driven. So I would say Pilot 1 is an exception, and Pilot 2 and 3 are kind of the same flow.
hmm
Obviously, like, and when you arrive to the repair, refit, and maintenance, it's Pilot 1 is connected as well because what we're selecting, like what you're doing as a job, Pranay, we need to maintain that. Like if we
Yep.
select like an engine, a Finnish engine, we're gonna need to have maintenance out of that OEM for the entire life of that ship. So we need
Absolutely.
to take these things in consideration when we do Pilot 1 because Pilot 3 is it's such a big one, such an expensive one, and it's such a long one.
Yeah.
hmm
So I guess NSS is all the three pilars are connected. And I think that's a bit of the beauty and of that strategy. And
Yeah.
hmm
there's a place for everyone in each of the pilars. So again, finding your space and you look if you want something fast paced, go in Pilot 2. If you want to like big challenges, then go to Pilot 3 where you're gonna have old things that you have to fix and you have no clue how to do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to build something massive, brand new, massive, and take the time to do it and build a career doing it, then go do Pilot 1. So I think there's place for everyone to the whole NSS.
It's actually beautiful that you mentioned the Terry Fox VLE because
There you
I worked a little bit on that project as well, and that
go.
was
Okay.
it was a good time. And OSY, they're doing really good work out there in Ontario as well. So
Yeah.
I know I keep hearing JSS and I'm like, I remember starting on like the initial drawings for that project back in 2015 and then watching it actually hit the water. The NSS is great when it comes to employment opportunities for Canadians as well as beefing up our national security. How do you, Will, view Canada's naval sovereignty from the prism of future Canadian naval buildup?
That's an interesting one. So when we're looking at like what's coming up,
hmm
obviously there's NSS, but there's there's a lot of stuff happening in the world, and Canada needs to be ready.
Absolutely.
And there's the Arctic one is an important one, where we have to have a bigger presence, and that's something that Canada's committed to do. So that's really good. That's something that's key. And in terms of the sovereignty and the protection, well, we're going to build destroyers, so that's awesome. That's going to be key for us. The Halifax class frigates are going to major repairs, major refit to be able to help us for a few times now. And there's another fleet of vessels, and when I don't want to go too much in hypotheses, but that's not easy for a French guy to say.
I know.
Some of these words are hard.
Yeah, they are. But so there's something like interesting that I've heard. So in order to protect, if like World War III explode tomorrow, so the goal would be for the U.S. to go and just beat the hell out of everyone, right? Whoever's attacking us, beat the hell out of them, because they have the firepower to do it. And Canada would be responsible to protect the continent. So the next vessel that Canada is looking at, what's the name? Continental Defense Corvette.
Right, yeah.
So that's part of the sovereignty plan, and that's part of, like, if something explodes, Trump wants to do the dome, like the Golden Dome, but at one point there's going to need to have ships to protect ourselves, and I think Canada's committed to doing that with the new submarines, with Continental Defense Corvette, with the destroyers. Our polar icebreaker projects are going faster than the one in the U.S. So we've got 2 underway. They've got 1. There's delays everywhere, so that's we got to deal with that, because those are huge ships. And like I said, it's been like 70 years if we didn't build one of them. So it makes sense that there's delays, and we take time that we deliver a quality that meets Canada's requirements. So yeah.
Well, since we have dealt with the sort of heavier topics, now I want to touch on a topic that's probably present in everyone's phones and computers today. And it's a topic that apparently every science-based podcast or conversation has to touch on, which is AI. As a professional who has sort of donned many hats, because you went from a NAVAR technical background to like a sales background within this industry, and so now you're a business development manager. How do you see the role of AI in this industry? And I'll tell you, the reason that I've included this question is because since last month, we've started using Copilot at work.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, excellent.
There you go.
Yeah, we've been using it for a few months now. But I think, so what's daunting with AI, and I think something that we need to be so when I look at AI, when I look at the potential of AI, someone very high in our company told me, technically, AI could do everything we do. So that's the potential, right? That's the potential of the tool. How to get there? There's tons of ethical dilemmas. There's tons of different challenges how to get there. And I think AI it's a very powerful technology. And what I've learned recently that was very interesting to me regarding AI is that the human can only see 3.5 dimensions. Right? So when we're looking at like doing the design of a ship and all the requirements that has to be put on that ship, we'll look at like the 3 most important things, and that's going to be the driver. And we're going to go through the ship design spiral because of that, because there's going to be a few things that's going to drive, but we're going to need to come back and come back and come back. Well, AI can actually look at tons of dimensions at the same time. So it allows you to kind of take all the dimension and tells you where to focus and tells you where to put your focus. So not AI to take the decisions, but AI to enlighten you and what's the possibility, right? So that could be as complex as building a destroyer, but it also could be as simple as like going through a very complex PSPC procurement document, which is 70 pages,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
She goes, okay, you have to look there, right? So I think that's where AI can open new dimensions to us.
Yep.
And we need to take a look at that, and it's definitely on the horizon. It's definitely going to allow us to do more things, automate some things. I don't want to get into like what AI can do to screw the world, because it can do a lot of things, and it's not. There's every day I wake up and there's things in the media, and you're like, no, like
well,
it's really that.
It's
really
yeah.
Well, I will say this, that I will concede to you that AI can collate a lot of information. It can give us a few different options to choose from, etc. But can it handle human bureaucracy? And with that, I'm going to let Danielle ask you the last question.
I know. That's actually really funny. Well, I overheard, I was sat in a coffee shop the other day, and I overheard a kid I think he was a student, and he was talking to an adult anyway, and he was kind of saying, he's like, I love using ChatGPT to do the things I don't want to do. And I'm like, man, you're a genius. Like, fair enough, right? Like,
right.
And it kind of ties into what you were saying too, Will. It's like, there are certain things, like weeding through a 70-page document. I'm not going to be as diligent as AI. So the possibilities are endless. And these are of course, like, just even, I'm speaking in like admin tasks, really. Like, there's certain things that people just don't want to do, or we're not as careful with. So why not leverage AI in those opportunities? But I also hear so many people who don't understand AI just like immediately frightened that AI is going to take their jobs, right? So I don't think we're quite at that level. I mean, we still, we need human intervention. There's still, expertise like that's involved here. You can't just throw it all at an AI data model or something and say, hey, or figure this out. Like, training your AI is another thing too. Like, you need some specialty and expertise. But
it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. Right. So there's really good things about AI. We're figuring that out. There's bad things like lawsuit, and there's ugly things. I don't want to like. Yeah. There's things that. Yeah, people dying because of AI. So that's really ugly, right?
Yeah.
So that Canada needs to sit down and really put. U.S. has done it, but it needs to sit down and put an AI governance and an AI policy, because now like people can go around and like there's loops. So there needs to be strong governance to avoid that, right?
So now we've kind of talked about what's on the horizon when it comes to our country and AI. So my last question for you today is, how does a shipbuilding project accommodate multi-industry collaboration, which I think is definitely a big part of what we're looking at here in the shipbuilding industry? I mean, it's so vast.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because and that's going to be a really hard one. But I see it as a business development manager, looking at diversifying a portfolio of a company, right? There's we look at like the defense sector, we looked at the commercial / Coast Guard sector, and we look at the private sector like the ship owners. So there's these three level. There's also geography. So we've got people across Canada, which is pretty deep. And then you've got also language. I've spoke about like in Quebec, this is a challenge to be able to kind of bring all of these people together. And you have cross borders as well. That's like everything Great Lakes. So there's all those shipping companies. They need to interact with the U.S. So there's a pretty big importance in collaboration there. That everyone's seeing, and there's like NATO allies. So there's collaboration that needs to happen between a lot of players.
Yeah.
I think there's some industries like Maritech last year in Montreal. There were some people from the commercial side, from the defense side, and some ship owners. It was really good to see like Procurement Service Canada that was sitting there listening to a CSL presentation about electric cargo ship in the Great Lakes. They're never going to work together because PSPC are giving contracts to us and CSL are giving contract to us, but they will never work together. So I think these kind of things need to happen more. And all the big major events like CanSec or like all like marine clubs, so they all have their big events, and I think Maritech is keep growing because of that reason, because they're able to kind of bring these people together. And like the Naval Quebec, the ICATA, and the ABCMI are doing very well to do that. I'm seeing more and more, like was really good at DefSec this year to see C-SPAN people, Davy people, Irving people, they're all there. Naval Quebec brought a panel between the 3 shipyards 2 years in a row at their Mitten Symposium. So I think there's more and more collaboration, and it's really hard to do it, but we need to do it. Yeah, and even now we're not talking about technology. We're not talking about, like here I live close to Montreal. Everyone in defense here talk about aerospace. So how to bring that gap, and there's definitely companies that do both. So how to bring that together is definitely a big challenge, but it's on the horizon. I think SNAME, that's sponsoring Maritech, that's a big part of the organization at Maritech's doing, like that's part of SNAME's mission, right? And it's a challenging one, but we're there for it.
Thank you very much, Will, for taking us through your journey as to how you came into the industry, and continuing on from that, helping break down the different levels of shipbuilding work and shipbuilding related work that are going on in Canada, what the industry's future might be, and what tools we have at hand, and how essentially it goes a long way towards protecting our sovereignty. From myself and Danielle, thank you so much for joining our podcast all the way from La Belle Provence.
So, there you go. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I'm turning off my friend.
I was going to say, we're across 3 provinces today: Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and Quebec. Lots of representation here for Canada, or the Eastern Canada, anyway.
Eastern Canada.
Go Jays.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is right. This is very pertinent right now.
We don't do mountain time here.
No.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Will. We really appreciate it. And to our loyal listeners, stay tuned. We're hoping to fill this season up with a lot of really valuable conversations with industry professionals to give you some insight into how different people found their niche, just like Will. I mean, you may start as a naval architect and become a business development manager. So
there you go.
You never know.
You never know.
Stay tuned. See you next time.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone.